All right, so I just got back from Kroger's and I had seen this comment, but I hadn't had a chance to click on the link until now. And as a person who just got back from the grocery store, the Grappler is hard at work taking away your hard earned cash. I bought ramen, 2 loaves of bread, some generic cheese, and some chicken salad and some pasta. $50. $50. Can you imagine that? That's all the food you bought, and it would take you an entire day working in a minimum wage job to earn that much money. I'm like, holy crap. Oh my goodness. So when I started watching this video on the Grappler, I didn't understand what I was watching. I thought it was just a regular news broadcast. And then I put it into ChatGPT because I shut it off. And then I realized that it was supposed to be humorous. At first, I just didn't understand, especially the female character, why she was so enthusiastic because maybe that's what white people do. But then I started reading about it, and then I realized that I'm never going to watch this. I made it through the first 30 seconds, and the expression on that woman's face were just too much for me. All right, with that said, let's get into the monologue. They never taught us how to fight the Grappler, that greasy little monster who shows up every payday, snatching away what little piece we have left. He's not just in your wallet, he's in your rent, your credit score, your late night Amazon spiral. And the worst part, they made us believe he was our fault, like we invented him. But I see him now, and once you see the Grappler, you can't unsee him. We have become a society where everything around us wants to take a bite out of our rear end, financially, emotionally, spiritually. By the time that Friday at 5 o'clock rolls around and you're at Evil Corp and you're looking at your ADP and you're seeing what you got paid today, and then you look at your bank account, then you bring up your bank account on your phone and you look at the app and you see how much money you have left, and then you look at how many days you have before you get more money, and you know that the Grappler exists. But he's not taking a piece just out of your rear. He's taking a piece out of the front end, out of every part of your body, especially when you're laying awake at night wondering how am I going to pay my bills while while I work an ordinary job. The truth is you're not supposed to. I've come to the conclusion that the Grappler is built right into our society, and right now the Grappler weighs about 2 tons, and he's going to rob you in the middle of the day. He's just going to pull you over, take your wallet, and be like, "You don't need this. You work for free." What they pay you at Evil Corp isn't equivalent to build a good life, and it never has been. It's just progressively gotten worse and worse and worse for people. And I think once you have not just regular poor people wondering how they're going to make it, but people who make halfway decent money, who are shopping at 99-cent stores, people who aren't going out to eat. Yesterday, I was watching the Epic Economist and they listed 17 restaurants that aren't going to make it. And you know why? Because their food sucks, it's expensive, and the customer service sucks because the guy working behind the counter isn't making it. He's standing there ready to give you the secret ingredient if you don't give him a tip. And believe me, you better tip those people because they are angry as heck. I can't imagine working at a McDonald's where I can't afford a value meal because I'm making $14.75 an hour. And that's the reality of life in our current time. All right, let's get started with talking point number one. Introduce the Grappler as a humorous but haunting metaphor for all the unseen forces draining your wallet: interest rates, hidden fees, debt traps, and the psychological stress of never having enough. It's not just you're mismanaging money, there's a system designed to grapple it from you. Just like Fleece Johnson shows up every morning at 8 a.m., to make certain that you understand who's in charge here. He pulls down your pants, your tighty whities drop down to your ankles. He sees your racing stripe on the back of your tighty whities and he says, "You know what? This is more important than food and water, is that you understand the pecking order of life." And that's when you ask if you can get a little lube, and he says, "Not a chance." The hard way, every time at Evil Corp. And so you endure, you don't like it, you grimace, you tell him to stop, but unfortunately you need money. And this is the only way most of us can make money, by working for the evil corpse of the world. There is nothing about our hateful, abusive relationship with all the corporations that all poor people have. Because they know we don't want to work there. They don't want to hire us. And they believe that labor should be free. So we're in a tough relationship, right? We don't like it. It doesn't smell good. It doesn't taste good. And afterwards, he calls us names to our face and tells us what beep beep you are and how easy you give it up. And you're like, what else? What other choice do I have other than fleece? It's not like I can sit at home and make gold bricks so I don't have to work. It's either here, there, across the street. Everywhere you go, there's a Fleece Johnson standing outside waiting for you to show up to work. And the worst part is it may not just be one time that day. You may have to go to two more fleeces and take what you deserve, because that's what proles do. They sell their labor for the cost of living. And unfortunately, the cost of living is so high that you're going to have to sell more and more of your sweet, sweet taint in order to get money. Talking point number 2. Talk about how financial exploitation is disguised as convenience. Buy now, pay later, auto-renewing subscriptions, payday loans, starter credit cards. These are all tools that the Grappler uses, and we're told it's normal, even responsible, but really it's stress disguised as freedom. There's a lovely word that I like to hear every day. I love the freedom to be poor. I love the freedom to struggle. I love the freedom to believe that I'm not a slave. But you can tell yourself that eventually, if you work hard enough, with immense effort, you work hard enough that you will be free. And this is some advice that Dave Ramsey gave to a woman. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in a video, but I think it's hilarious. So this woman went to Dave Ramsey for advice about how to become financially free. Well, she followed out all of his great advice. She paid off her house, paid off all her credit cards, got rid of all her credit cards, paid off her car, and then she was financially free. The only problem with Dave Ramsey's advice was that sometimes the best of us can't put away $10,000 for a beater car. So she needed to take out a loan for a car after she was financially free, because he called the debt in the banks evil. They're the grappler in disguise, right? And so she didn't have the money to buy this car, so she went to the bank and she tried to finance a car. Well, guess what? If you're not in debt, then how are they supposed to know that you're going to be good for a car loan? So because she wasn't paying on anything, she had no debt, she had no credit. Therefore, the bank told her, "We're sorry, you paid off your house, you got rid of your credit cards, you only deal in cash now. You're not good. You're not a good risk for a car loan." Talk about the irony of that. I think it's just as ironic when you overload yourself with over $100,000 worth of student loan debt. The second I got out of university and I went to a credit union to get a debit card, they told me I couldn't get one because my student loans were too much, and I was making too little while I was working at Walmart. It was one of the most humiliating things that I had to experience after getting out of school. Is like, "We're sorry, this is what you make, this is what you owe. You're not good." You're not good. And What are you supposed to do? They tell you that if you don't go to college, you're not going to get a good job. You come out from your education, you still can't get a good job because you didn't learn how to do anything in college. That's the problem with going to college, is that sometimes you come out on the other end and you really aren't a good worker. I'll tell you this much: everything that I learned in college, I have not had to use to generate one thin dime in all the time that I spent at school. And that really bothers me most days because there's that mountain of student loans that you had to take. It's either take out the student loans because you need to go to school, or fail at life because you're not an educated person. And that's what most of us have to make that decision. That's the decision Gen Z is looking at right now. If you're working at Starbucks right now and you never went to college, but you're working there after you got out of college with your beautiful liberal arts degree, what was the point? Because you didn't learn how to do anything. And that's the problem with a lot of people out here. This is why corporations prioritize learning. They prioritize work experience over college education because a long time ago, a long time ago, even before good old millennial Steve was even a child, you could walk into a company, any company, with whatever degree you had. As long as you had a degree, you were considered one of them. You fast forward to present day, that college degree isn't going to get you anything other than a interview where they're going to try to offer you a job that you don't want, or a job that's a bait and switch, where they will tell you that the job is this. You show up and it's actually this, and this for a fraction of the pay, because the pay that they advertise is the highest level of that salary, because that's what they love to do. They have entry level for the same position, and then they have maximum level. Like right now, I just went to the salon, and the lady said there's a $15 fee because you got to work with someone that has expert experience. So you got to work with someone that has 5+ years of experience, so we're going to charge you more. And I'm like, that is your problem as the business owner, not mine. And she just looked at me like, you're going to ask me to pay an extra fee for someone that has more experience. You're going to ask me for a tip, and then you're going to ask me for more money in to sign up for a membership. Like, what the hell? It's like the grappler's not only punching you in the nuts, but he's also shoving his hand in your rear end. It's like, what the hell is going on with this society that's so corrupt and disgusting that you wonder? It's like, why did I even come here? I ask myself that question all the time. Why did I even come here? It's the same question I ask myself every morning when I get to work. It's like, why did I even come here? This is enough money to feed myself with, let alone live a comfortable life. What am I doing here? Just letting the grappler, pull me by the short hairs? Anyhow, moving on to talking point number 3. Explain the idea of visualizing the grappler as a way to externalize stress. It's funny, but also therapeutic. You can't fight what you can't see, so give your financial anxiety a face. Laugh at it, roast it, then deal with it. Humor becomes a form of control. See, every week when we get the company wellness letter and it tells us about doing yoga or watching cat videos to deal with our financial stress, it is humiliating to say the least. When you have to read a company newsletter that's telling you that your financial stress can just melt away with another homemade soup idea, or spending 5 minutes before work, not during work, making certain that you relax, that you do breathing exercises, that you visualize your financial stress as a monster. It's not Evil Corp's fault that you're bad with money. It's not Evil Corp's fault that you're poor and you will never amount to anything. And someone told me that you will own nothing and be happy is a communist slogan. Um, The corporations in America don't want to pay us anything. I think that they're really behind a slogan that says you will own nothing and you will be happy. Because if they don't want to pay you anything, they don't want you having a car, a house to eat. They just want your bare bones. Let's put it this way: they want to remove your head and just have your animated body come to work and do the work, while your head, the part that about you that could complain about the working conditions and the pay, is out of the picture. All they want is labor. They don't want people. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about this. Because the one solution that I talk about every single day is to get up and do something. Corporations don't want you to do anything. They want you to work as many jobs. Because think of this: what more wonderful would it be to a system in which one person has to work three jobs while not gaining financially from all that work enough to be able to live any sort of lifestyle? But by you working three jobs means that you're contributing to the financial success of $3 billion corporations that want to have record profits every year. Hey, proletariat, you're doing a bang up job. Thumbs up. Talking point number 4. Once you name your grappler, what can you actually do? Talk about boundary settings with money, budgeting, canceling unnecessary subscriptions, avoiding financial shame, and seeking support. The grappler thrives in silence. Calling him out is step 1. Okay. Avoid financial shame. Is this what Dave Ramsey talks about on his show, where he says that a bill collector called his house and his wife answered the phone and she asked him why she would be with a deadbeat that won't pay his credit card bills? Oh my god. I don't know why I have that recorded in my head that he said on his show. And I thought to myself, man, if I was working at a collection agency and I could really say that to people. Like, I remember when I was a teenager, I got a call from one of my first credit cards that I got. So I didn't know any better, right? I was 18. I got my first credit card, and I thought it was free money. And then the credit card collector called me, and she's really sweet. She's like, well, to make money, you should just do anything. Just walk across the street and start pushing shopping carts at the grocery store. Do anything you can to pay us back the money, because you know that it's your responsibility to pay back that money by whatever means possible. I almost felt like she was asking me if I wanted to come in and donate a kidney to the Discover card, because they didn't make it seem like they were in any way responsible for giving a credit line of $1,000 to an 18-year-old and with no job, and then wondering, it's like, well, how's he going to pay that money back? Well, he never really thought about that. A lot of people get into some pretty financially disturbing situations, student loans, not understanding how the hell you're ever going to pay it back. Because for the vast majority of Americans, we're all going into the pine box with quite a bit of financial stress. I don't think it's possible. If we're doing pay now or buy now, pay later for a bean burrito, I don't think our future looks very bright. I think that most of us are going to end up going into our final resting place owing the system cash that we needed in order to live a mediocre life. Can you imagine that? Someone shows up at your funeral and it's like, well, can we take his gold tooth or his fillings? What does he have? Is that jewelry that he's wearing inside there? No. You're going to go into the hole with nothing. And the worst part is you're going into the hole while you're in the red. We're going to go in there negative, owing them. So somehow science is going to have to reanimate our poor control bodies to get us to continue to work well after we're gone, because those student loans need to be paid, and it's going to take at least 10 lifetimes for me to pay back my student loans. So you think that your final resting place is going to be rest in peace, but the reality is that the Department of Education, in whatever form it exists, in 1,000 years is still going to be trying to collect money for your liberal arts degree. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a little bit funnier on the same topic. Appreciate the guy who sent it. Prophecies are us. Thank you for sending in this funny clip, and I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.